Hello, I'm Dr. Chris McCusker, the professor, and this is another episode in the Quarantine Management Institute, where we are learning to learn in new ways together. This episode concerns feedback. Feedback is a very important topic when we think about managing. Feedback is information you give someone about their performance, and then they can apply that information and try to improve their performance. One of the nice things I have with the video is I can go back and review the tape, and I can look and see what happened, how did I do, and I can identify issues or problems and then try to improve. So in some cases, I'll admit to you, previously I've said too much, So I'm really trying hard to apply that lesson. I just did it again, you see? I'm really trying hard to apply that lesson so that I don't say so much, because that can be distracting for some people. I also have benefited from excellent feedback throughout my career. I've gone many times to Latin America, Central and South America, and Mexico, working with a company called Seminarium. They're headquartered in Chile. And when I first started doing seminars, public speaking, I think I was pretty bad at it. But my friends down there would always give me really great feedback. This is working, this is not working. And over the years, I've developed, I think, a better approach, and I've become better at presenting, largely because of feedback that I've gotten. And I'm mentioning those folks because they have been friends. They've been dear friends for many years, and I know when they give me feedback, it's because they care. Not only do they care about their company and their seminars, but they also care about me. So before we get into three basic ideas about feedback, we should take a step back and recognize that we all need feedback. Life doesn't have a videotape that we can go back and review and say, oh, I'm saying too much. We have to actually depend on other people to help us improve, to share with us their impressions and advice. And when somebody does that for us, it means they care. Sometimes we might not like what somebody says, but we have to recognize that what they're doing here is they're showing concern, and they're showing me that they care about me. That's why they're trying to help. There are three things, though, I want to emphasize when it comes to feedback. Seeking feedback, the ratio of positive and negative feedback, and there's a number 3 out there somewhere. How to say it, number 3. Okay, feedback seeking is very important. Feedback itself has a tremendous positive relation to performance. When you get feedback, you perform better. That's very robust. It's been shown many, many times. An organizational psychologist, Susan Ashford, and many others have studied feedback seeking. And they have found that people who seek feedback do better when it comes to performance. So the first lesson of feedback is we've got to seek it. The enemy of feedback is defensiveness. We don't like to get negative feedback, and we will be defensive. It's criticism, and you get your heart out. I put my heart in these videos, and you're going to criticize me, and I'm going to be defensive, and it's not going to work. When I ask you for feedback, and I'm going to ask you now, please give me feedback. What do you like? What don't you like? I take it very seriously. But when you give me feedback, and I'm asking you for feedback, I'm inviting feedback, and then you give it, I'm ready. I'm ready to hear it. I'm less defensive. The other thing is 3-to-1 ratio makes us less defensive as well. If I give you 3 positive items and then 1 negative item, that 1 negative item is more likely to have impact on me because the 3 positive items were there. The 3 positive items, first of all, manage my emotions. I'm kind of built up a little bit, and then the one little negative is subtracted, but the overall message is still positive. The 3 positive items also increase the giver of feedback. It increases that person's credibility. If you tell me 3 things you like about my videos, I'm going to pay attention to you. You're obviously somebody who's got very good judgment. So 3-to-1, positive to negative when it comes to feedback. For example, if I had somebody in a Zoom meeting who was dominating the meeting, not managing their talk to listen ratio, they're talking half the time, and there are 5 people here, so you're talking way more than your share. I'd want to say something maybe offline, maybe a one-on-one Skype chat or Zoom or what have you. And I'd say, look, I appreciate you. You're doing a good job. You've got great ideas. You're very insightful. You perceive things, so it's great to have you on the team. I really learn a lot from what you see. And also, you've got great experiences that you bring into the conversation. So I've said three positive things. And then the one negative thing, what I think you might think about and could improve is possibly try not to cut off people when they're talking. If you interrupt others, it frustrates some of us, especially the person who was interrupted. It changes the flow of the conversation. We might not analyze something fully, and we're less creative. So 3 positive things, 1 negative thing. That's the best way to deliver negative feedback. 3 plus, 1 minus. Lastly, BIC. BIC is an acronym which I created to help remember the proper way to construct a sentence that involves feedback. B stands for behavior, I stands for impact on me, and C stands for consequences for the work. So, behavior. Focus on behavior. You might say, look, Professor, your face. I just can't deal with your face. There's nothing I can do about that. I'm stuck with it. But if you said, Professor, it would be nicer, it would be a lot more effective communication if you smile more. I can do something. That's behavior. I can smile more, I can manage. So behavior is number 1. Number 2, impact on me. You don't ever want to tell someone you know how they feel. I know how you feel out there, and no, you don't know how I feel. When you say to someone, I know how you feel, that's provocative, and they're going to prove that you don't by throwing this cup that has no whipped cream on you. So, impact on me. I can speak as an expert about how I feel. When you interrupt in the meeting, I feel frustrated. So far, there's nothing anybody can really argue with. You interrupted in the meeting, we got it on film. I feel frustrated. And now the C, consequences for the work. The consequences for the work. So what happens when you interrupt? When you interrupt, I feel frustrated, and it has this effect on the work. We don't fully analyze the issue that was on the table. The person who was interrupted feels frustrated, and they might not want to participate anymore. They might pull back and not share ideas, and we might not make the best decision. We might not be creatively analyzing the problem the way that we want to. So BIC, when you interrupt me during the meeting, I feel frustrated, and I don't think we fully analyze the issue that was on the table because the conversation moves on, and we never get back to the conversation as it was, and we might not be as creative as we possibly could. Behavior, impact on me, and C, consequences. So, 3 things about feedback I want to emphasize and share from research on the subject. Number 1, seek feedback. When you seek feedback, you're going to get feedback, and when you get feedback, you're going to have a higher performance. Number 2, and this comes from research on feedback that has been done by the Center for Creative Leadership in North Carolina. When you give feedback, you want to have 3 positive and 1 negative item. That seems to be the best ratio for minimizing defensiveness. And number 3, BIC. Focus on behavior, the impact on me, and the consequences for the work.